here, Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. Today is Friday, November 19th, and I'm back for my stitching update. It has been 2 weeks since my last one, so I hope you've all been well and you've been stitching and making and creating all of the things. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. This is a video podcast where I talk about my cross stitching as well as my quilting. However, if quilting is not something that you are interested in seeing or hearing, I show them a little bit later on in the video, and I let you know in plenty of time that they'll be making their appearance, so that way you can go on to the next Flosstube video. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. So I hope you guys have had a great 2 weeks since we last sat down to visit. I wanted to say a thank you to all of you who took the time out of your day to wish me a happy birthday on my birthday. It was so kind of you to think of me, and I really appreciated all of the birthday wishes, as well as the cards that I received in the mail. For my birthday this year, I actually ended up being sick. I ended up getting a head cold, which still continues to hang on. I spent pretty much 5 days just laying around like a big lug and trying to get better. Taking a lot of vitamins, making sure that I drank a lot of fluids. But it was not a stellar birthday, and to be completely honest, with the way that this year has been going, I would have expected nothing less. So, but thank you so much for thinking of me. It really brightened up my day. My video today, I have to admit, I'm a little bit unprepared for. Typically in these videos, I like to, kind of have a rough plan of what I'm going to do. In this video, I do plan on showing the second half of all of my Thanksgiving previous finishes, as well as some new finishes. And I do have a couple of quilts that I do want to show a little bit later on. I don't really know how well this video is going to go. I've already had to pause it twice so I can cough. And so editing Olivia is going to have a lot of work tonight, splicing all of the segments of videos together so that you do not hear that. But thank you to everybody who was so kind in my last video on seeing the first half of my Thanksgiving finishes. I really appreciated it. I have been kind of neglectful on my last video. I have not had a chance to go in and respond to any of the comments, and I do apologize. I was able to read some of them in my email, but just thank you so much for all of the kind comments. I do appreciate it. The decor behind me still remains to be Thanksgiving and autumn, and then in my next video everything will be switched out for Christmas because my next video will be after Thanksgiving. I can't believe Thanksgiving is already upon us. It's next week. My husband and I celebrate our wedding anniversary on Monday. I don't think we're gonna do anything for our anniversary, just kind of with I don't know that we really, when we got married, we didn't really think it out too well. We just kind of looked on the calendar for a good time where we could take off the most days for our wedding. And at the time, we weren't really thinking about it. I think if we would have maybe sat down and, had a little bit more time to think about it, we might have waited until, the new year sometime to get married, but it's okay. So I don't think that we'll be celebrating it this year. We tend to float it, and so we've got a bunch of anniversaries all stacked up to celebrate at some point. All right, so let's just go ahead and jump right into it. I'm going to talk about what I've been working on over the past couple of weeks. It hasn't really been a tremendous amount because last week I didn't stitch for several days. There was a couple of evenings that I felt well enough to stitch at least for a little while, and so at least I do have some progress to show. I also did have some finishes, and if you follow me on Instagram or on Facebook, you saw what those finishes were. I've been posting them over the past couple of days, so I'm really excited to have those finishes to show in this video. So I know in the last couple of videos I have been showing a lot of my previous finishes, and because I've been doing that, it has enabled me to be a monogamous stitcher kind of behind the scene. It's been really great because I've been able to sort of focus on one piece and get it done. And the one piece that I decided to pick up and go full on out and hopefully get finished before the end of the year is Anne Priest by the Scarlet House. I started this one last year on my birthday, and I've kind of worked on it off and on in my rotation throughout this past year. And I believe the last time I showed her was in September. I did try to work on her some during Sampler September. My original plans didn't quite work out. I wanted her to be my morning stitch, but working on 40 count first thing in the morning didn't really work out so well. So she kind of got shuffled to the side, and I've been kind of focusing on other pieces, just kind of working my way to her. And now it is her turn to be worked on and hopefully finished by the end of the year. I picked her up on Monday, so I've had 2 evenings of progress on her so far. Okay, so we're back. There was about 45-minute pause there. Husband got home from the grocery store, and I decided to go ahead and eat a little lunch, and then now we're back. So I was talking about Anne Priest, and here is my progress. So I am stitching this on a piece of 40 count caramel by Saraphim Fabrics with called for threads 1/2. So the last time I showed this piece, I had finished that middle verse, and I had barely started on the roof, which is down below. And I realized when I picked this back up again that I had, for some reason, done the roof wrong, and it was a good thing. I was able to just quickly unpick it before I went any farther, and then had a lot of unpicking to do. So for the past, Monday and Tuesday, I worked on this, and my focus was on the roof. So the roof is at the bottom of the page that I'm working on, and then I have to pop up above where the verse is. There is some ABC, there's an alphabet right there, and right next to the alphabet there's another little motif. And then once I finish the roof on this page and do that one little motif, I can move on to the next page, which is just a bunch of motifs, and then I will drop down to the bottom row. So I really love working on this piece. Because I've been working on trying to finish a few things for Christmas, and I actually debated if I could possibly finish one more thing before Christmas and then work on Anne Priest. But I just decided I'm going to go ahead and work on her and try to get her done before I start my New Year, New Start. If I forgot to mention it, I am stitching her 1/2 with the called for threads, and I will show the threads again. I haven't shown them for a while, so it's all just beautiful kind of earth tone colors. She is so very beautiful. When I get her finished, she will hang in my bedroom. And I have a bunch of questions, and while I was eating lunch, I went and pulled the giveaway winners for the giveaway that I had done in my last video. And I saw that there was quite a few questions in there. So I think what I will do over these next 2 weeks is I will go back into my last 2 videos, because I had questions in the video before that, and I will go in and I'm going to pull some of those questions and answer them, because a lot of them are the same, and I feel kind of bad that I haven't been able to respond to them yet. So that's something that I will be doing in my next video. But a couple of the questions that I saw about, because I had talked about redoing my bedroom, and I'm still planning on doing it. I originally wanted to do it before November, but things happen. And now I just would kind of like to get it done before the end of the year. It's not like this huge bedroom redo. It's basically just, kind of cleaning it out, kind of purging some of the closets and things like that. And then adding some new elements to the room, fresh coat of paint. I have some new curtains and things like that. And so I've had people ask if I will do a reveal when it gets done. And yeah, I think I will. It won't be anytime soonish, but I would like to hopefully get it done before this year. I think it would be a lot of fun. So when Anne Priest is done, she will hang in my bedroom. And a lot of the colors of Anne Priest are the colors that I am doing in my bedroom, like the curtains and things like that. And I've been slowly collecting things for my bedroom over the past year. And for my birthday, Allison got me the set of lamps that I had on my wish list for a while. So I'm excited to start working on that and to get it finished. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I did have some progress on my Wednesday autumn stitch, which is Mighty Acorn, and it is out of the Blackbird book, Winds of Autumn. I'm stitching this with Yvette and Carol. Last week I got 1 day of progress, and then I was able to pick it up this week, and I worked on it Wednesday and Thursday. And I absolutely love it. I love the colors. I love this piece so much. I'm stitching on a piece of 36 count Wren with the called for threads 1/2. And it's such a beautiful piece. I look forward to getting back to it next week. So I think in my last video, I showed this as a project that I was going to start working on. I did start it and I was able to finish it, and it is called the Colonial Christmas Practice Sampler by Primitive Stitching. And this is what it looks like. It is a PDF download that I purchased from the Primitive Stitching website, and I will put a link to that Etsy shop down below. And here is my finish. So I stitched it on a piece of 32 count natural by, it's 32 count natural, but I picked it up from Hobby Lobby. And it came, Hobby Lobby has those ones where you can buy them and they're like a fat quarter, they're pre-packaged. And that's where I purchased this one. I stitched it with the called for DMC 1/2. And I stitched this one for my 7 times great grand aunt, Rebecca Sims. And on the chart, it has 1726 listed as the year, and I decided to go ahead and leave that because on my family tree, it says that she was born about 1720. So I figured, well, I'll just go ahead and leave the year and just have her initials there. It was a lot of fun to stitch up. It was one that stitched up very quickly, which was really, really nice. I did use one thread and I really liked the coverage. I was kind of skeptical at first, but then as I started going along, I just really, really liked that coverage on the 32 count linen. It stitched up surprisingly fast, and I actually worked on it while I had, like my head cold, and it's probably the only piece that I've ever stitched where I didn't miscount at all. So I don't know what that says. There was one finish that in my last video I was not able to show because I was trying to keep it kind of a secret. I was asked by Liz from Elizabeth and Can Stitch if I would be interested in participating in a Christmas exchange that she was hosting. And of course I said yes. I never get asked to do that, so it was a lot of fun. And my partner was Stephanie from Pam and Steph. And I will insert a picture of the Blackbird stocking that I made for her. It was out of the Merry December booklet by Blackbird. It was a lot of fun to stitch up. I did it on a piece of 30 count linen that I had a piece in my stash that was just like the right size. And I stitched it with DMC, and I did the red part of the stocking I stitched with anchor, and it was the first time I've ever stitched with the anchor that comes on the spool. I have to be honest, I did not enjoy that part, and I was just glad that as I was stitching the red, it was laying really nicely because I did stitch it 2/2. But the actual floss itself was not very fun to work with, and I probably will not again. And I know I'm probably going to get kicked out of the cross stitching club for saying that, because I know right now the new anchor floss on the spools is like the hot new item, but I definitely will not use it again. But I had a lot of fun creating the stocking for Steph, and she absolutely loves it. I did make her a project bag, and I found these perfect scissors to send with it, and she was very, very happy, and I'm happy that she loved it too. I did receive my exchange gift in the mail, and my partner was Kia B, and she stitched this little Christmas small for me, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to read what she wrote about it. She said there were 2 charts used. One was Home for Christmas and the other was Flirting, and both of them are by Plum Street Sampler. The fabric is a 46 count linen by Beast Stitch Me, and she did a floss conversion for it. And it's absolutely gorgeous. She wanted to make sure there were Christmas trees on it because she knows I love Christmas trees. It's just so very beautifully stitched. Here is the back, and she put a little accoutrement on the back of it with some buttons, but I love it. It's got some rickrack on the side. It's just so beautifully made, and I love it, and I will cherish it always. She also sent some extra goodies. So there are some felt to be used in finishing, and some fat quarters also to be used in finishing. And then she made me this. It is let me make sure I have the right words. It's a small needle book that she made, and each pocket is filled up with goodies. And I love it so much. I have a feeling that this will be perfect for quite a few things. Binding on quilts, and also finishing and just general stitching. I feel like this is one of those one needle books that you can use for so many things. And I kind of keep things very simple when I like gadgetries and things like that. But I like when I find something where I can have a lot of stuff in one area that I can just kind of pick up and move to where I'm working. And I absolutely love it. It's so beautifully well made. There's also a floss tag that she also included. Or it's not a floss tag, it's what are those things called? You put them on your thread, the thread bling. She also included these primitive candy canes, which I absolutely love, and she got them from a shop on Etsy called By Grace Primitives. And I cannot wait to put them on my Christmas tree. I'm hoping one of the trees I can kind of do kind of primitive, but it was so very generous of her to send those extra goodies, and it was so much fun to participate. Everybody has done such an amazing job with their little smalls. Liz did a great job of hosting, and it was just so much fun, and I'm so happy that she asked me to participate. All right, so how about we talk about some finishes? So over the past 2 weeks, I was able to fully finish 2 previously finished projects. Both of these frames came from the Rusty Roof on Etsy. I had to buy, because of how big the pieces finished, I had to get a custom frame. The first one, this is Our Lasting Friendship by Blackbird Designs. I stitched this with Yvette and Carol and Lauren, and we started it in the summer, and we were able to finish it over the past couple of months. The frame, I decided on, well, when I was trying to figure out what would be a good frame color, I decided to kind of look at the piece and find out what color in the piece needed a little bit of help. And there is a couple of motifs that are in a sort of charcoaly bluish gray. So I decided to get the frame made in charcoal gray. I will put all of the information about the frame down below. I believe it is in the Cimmaron frame. I did opt to get my frame made with no glass. Usually when you purchase a frame from them, they do send it with glass. But since I am not putting this behind glass, I opted not to get it. I laced it onto a piece of mat board. There are 3 layers of batting underneath this. And I did have a little bit of trouble getting the borders to sort of even up. It was kind of not wiggly, but it definitely there was some like finagling that kind of had to go on as I was lacing it, but I was able to get it nicely squared, and I like the finish. It's such a beautiful piece, and I'm so glad that my friends decided to join me in stitching it. This particular piece is going to hang in my bedroom just as soon as we get it situated. In case I forgot, our lasting friendship is stitched on a piece of 36 count legacy with the called for threads 1/2. I also was able to fully finish Liberty's Welcome by Plum Street Samplers. This one was my New Year, New Start this past year, and I was stitching it with Yvette. We finished ours towards the end of July, I believe. It was such a joy to stitch it up. I really enjoyed working on this one. This particular piece saw me through some rough times this past year. I worked on it during Ice-mageddon and then worked on it when Brian was in the hospital, and it just saw me through a couple of tough times. I stitched it on a piece of 36 count Heartland with the called for DMC Threads 1/2, except for the house, which is DMC 648. And it hangs in the other room above my sewing machine, so I get to stare at it, and I love it. I just love having it done. I didn't realize how big it was until I got the frame and then pulled the piece back out and was looking at it. But it was such a joy to work on. I really did enjoy it. The frame is also from the Rusty Roof. It is the one that is called Venice, so it does have a little bit of scroll to it. And the color is in Espresso. And I think it turned out really, really good. I'm so happy to have them both done. So in my last video, I showed 2 previous finishes that I had found in my box where I keep some of my small finishes that need to be fully finished. I had not had a chance to finish them yet, but then over the weekend I was able to fully finish them. So this is what the trench bowl looks like now. I'm still kind of working on how to sort of organize it so it looks attractive. But I thought I would go through now and talk about some of these pieces. So this little pillow here, I don't remember the name of it. I do remember that it was a freebie that I got online somewhere. I stitched this one several years ago. I made one for my friend Tina and then one for me. I finished it with some vintage buttons that my grandma had given me. It does have some Civil War reproduction fabric that I had in my stash from one of the quilts that I had finished several years ago. If I can figure out what the name of this is, I will, of course, scroll it across the bottom, and then I will put the information down below. I believe the tail on the turkey was stitched with the DMC that is variegated. And I don't remember which one that it is, but if you're at the store and you're looking at the variegated DMC, it's the one that looks like fall. This particular one, I stitched it last year, and I'm having a little trouble remembering if I had this one finished or not. I don't think I did. I think that in my last year, I had stitched this and finished it last year, but I just do not remember. My brain is kind of in a fog today. But this is Give Thanks, and the official name of it is Give Thanks Pillow Pin Tuck or something like that. It is by Country Rustic Primitives, and I will put a link to her website down below. I don't remember what I stitched it on. I did do it with DMC and just kind of, I don't know if I did it on from what was listed on the chart or if I did my own conversion, but that is the back. And it's filled pretty firm, which some of them I like to have, stuffed pretty firm, and then some of them I don't. This is one that I showed in my last video that was finished but not fully finished, so I was able to go in and fully finish it. So I just did in kind of a long, small pillow. I put this little, this is jute, so I did like a jute bow, and then it does have a little rusty bell on it. And this fabric is some of the leftover fabric from the S'mores quilt. I thought it was perfect for this piece. And this one is a Thanksgiving freebie by Twin Peak Primitives. I think in my last video I had said Country Rustic, but it is by Twin Peak Primitives, and I will put a link down below. I did it in DMC, and again, I don't remember if I did my own conversion or if I did what was listed on the chart. This particular one, I've shown it before. I feel like it's one of those ones that kind of works with any holiday. This was from Country Rustic Primitive, and I think it's just like small sampler pin keep. And then this is one that I showed in my last video that I had not got done. I went ahead and finished it into a pillow. This one is called Pumpkin Hollow by Homespun Prims by Lori. And if I've got that wrong, I will scroll it down below, and I will also put a link to her website down below. This is the backing. So it's actually some of the backing that I had in these pumpkins behind me. I don't remember what I stitched it on, but I do know that I stitched it with DMC. And I love it. Don't remember what linen or anything that I did on these. I don't think I really kept track last year of some of that stuff. It would have been leftover pieces from some of my the stuff I had been working on last year. And then this previous finish has some glass on it, so it is going to glare really badly when I pick it up. It is one that I am planning on redoing. I was going to try to redo it this year, but I don't think I'm going to have time. So next year I'm definitely going to try to refinish it. It was a piece that I did not too long after I started back into cross stitching. It is a freebie by the Primitive Hair, and I believe you can still get it. I think it is called Give Thanks, and I will put a link to, I think it was her blog is where I got it, and I will put that down below if I can find it. But here it is. So it's just the two little pilgrims. Pilgrims, I need to, in all of my autumn decorating, I have a lot of pumpkins and turkeys, but pilgrims I don't have a whole lot of. And so I always feel like I need to get some of those really cool ones that you can find at Hobby Lobby. It's just one of the things I haven't done yet. But I was, at one point, I was able to stitch them, and I think it's really, really cute. I don't remember the linen I did it on. I did do it with DMC, and I think I might have done my own conversion. I can kind of remember that. But I did it with 2 strands. I'm thinking it was a 32 count, and it's very cute. I like it. And so this year it's been back here on this little, whatever this whatchamabobby is behind me. Scale. It's been on this scale this past year. In the past years, it's been across the room. I have a little shelf, and it's been there in previous years, and then this year I just decided to stick it back there. This one was also a freebie by Lizzie Kate. I want to say it's like Moon Over Blackwater or Blackbird or something like that. If I can find it, I will put the link down below. I did it on a piece of 32 count using 2 strands of threads, and it looks like I did it with DMC. This is one that I stitched several years ago. But it was super cute and super quick. I think I might have stitched it with one of my friends, maybe like right before Thanksgiving. I just don't remember. And that was before I started writing things down in my calendar to kind of try to keep track of things. Back then I didn't, I would have never thought back when I was stitching these that I was going to be doing Flosstube. So it wasn't something that I was going to keep track of because I was never going to do it just never occurred to me that I might someday do Flosstube. The next one, this one I for some reason always call Bok Bok. It was a freebie. I do not remember what the name of this is. And every once in a while, somebody will go into my Instagram and they'll go like way back to when I stitched this. And they'll comment, where'd you find this? And I'll go and I'll look, and you would think that after doing that several times, I would remember. but I just don't. I remember I did it the same time that I did that little turkey small that I showed. I stitched it again, I think it was right before Thanksgiving. I did it on a piece of 18 count Ada, and I did use 2 threads. It looks like I did use DMC. And then I just kind of put a running stitch all the way around it and pulled some of the threads to give it sort of a rustic look. This particular pumpkin, I remember I found it the day after Christmas. My grandma had to go return some things to Kohl's, and I was waiting in line and I saw this pumpkin kind of back in their clearance area, and I think it cost me like 75 cents. And this particular little guy has been in it ever since. So a lot of fun. If I can find out any information about it, I will of course scroll it, or I will put the information in the description box down below. This was another one that I did many, many years ago when I got back into cross stitching. Again, it was another freebie. It was just called Give Thanks. I stitched it on the same 18 count Ada. I used DMC threads, and then I finished it in this little hoop that I think my grandma had given me, and then just put a wire bow on it. And this hangs on the tree behind me. This one is also an ornament that hangs on the tree behind me, and it was when I went to Acorns and Threads Fall Fling in 2019. They did an ornaments exchange, and this was one that I was able to get. Super cute. This was a little, it was supposed to be a scissor fob, and it never really worked as a scissor fob. It was a freebie. I think it was just called Pumpkins, and I think you were supposed to make it into a scissor fob, and I tried, and it just never looked right. I have it on a piece of jute, which is probably part of the reason why. I just use it as an ornament now. I have it backed with some homespun. So, and it would be DMC. Again, it's 2/2, and it looks like it's like a 32 count probably. But I remember this one, I was able to work on it in like an evening one time many years ago. Not like many years ago, but let's say like 5 years ago probably. And then this one was made for me, and I absolutely love it. And it was from a subscriber, and it was just absolutely beautiful. I'm so blessed that she sent it to me, and it's been hanging on my seasonal trees ever since when the fall rolls around. And I love it. It's a beautiful little quilt block pattern. I don't have any of the details for it. It has some Civil War reproduction, and I absolutely adore this. Okay, so as far as all of the finishes go, that is all for the cross-stitching part. I'm pretty positive I've shown all of the Thanksgiving cross-stitch that I've made. I remember when I did my Halloween, that very last Halloween video that I did, I thought I had showed all of them, and then I went out after I'd finished doing the video, and there were like 3 things I had forgotten, but I'm pretty positive that's all I have. I know I've mentioned before that autumn Thanksgiving is really an area where I need to kind of focus on. And hopefully within this next year, because Yvette and I are going to still continue doing the Autumn Wednesday, so hopefully by this time next year I will have quite a few more added to be able to display around the house. So in my last video, I did have a giveaway, and thank you so much to everybody who entered to win. Again, I'm really sorry that I have not been able to get to your comments, and that is one thing that I will be doing over the next couple of weeks. I've gotten kind of behind in doing that, and I never want you guys to think that I am ignoring you or anything. It's just the past couple of weeks I haven't really felt the greatest. So hopefully I will continue to improve, and then I will be able to kind of get back to my usual routine. But I did go ahead and pull the winners, and I apologize if I butcher any of your guys' names. I feel really bad when I do. But the giveaway, this was giveaway number 1, and the winner is Heidi. It's Lehnig. I was going to try to pronounce it, but I know that I would butcher it. So Heidi and then Lehnig, you are the winner of the Lori Holt floss drops. Number 2 was the 4.5-inch square and a square paper piecing pad notebook, and the winner is Mara Jones. Number 3 is the quilt pattern Geneva by Itso Emma, and the winner is Letha, and I'm going to spell your last name. It's Caltaggarone. And number 4 is for this Rose and Bloom pattern by Lila Boutique, and the winner is Mary Willis. So congratulations to all the winners. I will do my best to comment on your comment, but if you can get a hold of me via email and send me your address, I will get these out in the mail to you very, very soon. A little housekeeping. There are 3 people who sent me their address last week, and I have not got your packages out in the mail to you, but I will be doing that this coming week. This video also has a giveaway, and it is the 2022 planner by Lori Holt of Be in My Bonnet. So if you are interested in winning this, I actually have kind of a 2-part question. You can answer either question for the giveaway. The first question that you could answer if you want is, do you have any plans between now and the end of the year of something that you're working on that you would like to get finished before the end of the year? And the other question is, so lately, I don't know if anybody has noticed this or not, but postage has been kind of going up and up and up. And so especially sending packages to my international friends, sometimes the postage is like way more than the chart you're sending. So I had gotten to thinking how it might be nice sometimes to be able to offer gift certificates to either an Etsy shop, like a designer's Etsy shop, or to an online shop where they have PDF downloads, so that way my international friends, I would be able to offer a PDF down, like say Stacy Nash, she has an online Etsy shop and she has PDF downloads. So, one of my upcoming giveaways would be a gift certificate for a chart in Stacy Nash's shop. Basically, it's just kind of a way to cut down on shipping, because shipping is getting crazy pants. And the worst thing is a lot of the times you go in and you send something and it gets lost. It just goes, I don't know where it goes, and then the person never gets it, and then I feel really bad. So I thought maybe it would be kind of nice sometimes to be able to pick like an online shop or an Etsy shop or somebody that offers PDF downloads, and then offer that as a giveaway to sort of give myself a break on shipping, but also be able to send stuff to my international friends, in case shipping continues to increase. So if you have like a favorite online shop where you buy PDF downloads, will you let me know what that is down below? And I know that question was kind of, long, but I had to kind of explain it first. I enjoy doing giveaways, so I know a lot of you guys will probably say, well, you don't have to offer a giveaway, but I do enjoy it. It makes me happy to be able to, give stuff away in every video, and I'm still going to have, like stuff, to mail, but I just thought sometimes it would be kind of nice to be able to say, to like offer like a shop that has PDF downloads. So if you answer either one of those questions, you'll be entered to win the 2022 planner by Lori Holt. And in my next video, I will announce a winner. So as far as everything goes, that is all the cross stitching I have to show in this video. I'm going to start talking about quilts next. So if you are not interested in seeing or hearing those, this is a great stopping off point, and I'll be back in 2 weeks. And between now and then, have a great Thanksgiving. And now let's talk about quilts. So in my last video, when I was going through editing the video, I realized that I never talked about the quilt that is hanging up behind me. And I had a lot of you guys asking what the name of it was. And it is called Pumpkin Patch, and I got it from Primitive Quilts and Projects. I I went on to sign up to get a subscription to their magazine. And when I did that, they were running some sort of a special where they gave you so many credits to their online shop. And I saw this quilt and fell in love with it. And so that's what I spent my credits on. I worked on this one last year, I think during Smoke-mageddon, because I remember working on this, and then I did that primitive pumpkin, and I kind of remember doing them at the same time. But it was a lot of fun. I did it all out of Civil War reproduction fabrics, and I just absolutely love it, and I love having it up, and it just makes me so happy. But last time I talked about my Jane Austen quilt, and I showed you the progress that I had made, which was the upper diamond portion. And then my plan had been to work on the middle diamond portion and then work on the bottom, and then hopefully have the whole middle portion of the quilt, the diamonds all assembled, to show in this video. And that did not happen. I did not work on her really at all last week, except the weekend right after I did my video. I did work on it and had got started on that middle section, but did not actually finish the middle section until this past weekend. So this is the Jane Austen quilt, and I am really enjoying working on her. So this is what the diamond layout looks like. And on there's another page where it shows all, like, the order you're supposed to put the diamonds in. Sometimes I can get every diamond that's supposed to be in the correct spot, and then sometimes, like last night, when I accidentally put the number 1 in the number 4 spot and the number 4 is in the number 1. But I'm not going to rip it out just to flip it around, because I honestly don't think it matters. So in my last video, I had finished this part right here, and then I had started here. And then over this past weekend, I was able to attach the big diamond to the upper middle portion, and then finish this one and attach them both together, and then attach them both together. And then last night, and last night and then a couple of nights ago, I did the 2 longest rows of diamonds for the bottom portion. So this is what I have done so far. Make sure I got this right. But this is what it looks like. And there is the middle. And all of the diamonds. Looks so gorgeous. It's huge. And I just absolutely love it so very much. It is such a pleasure to work on. It goes all the way down to the floor. But it is very, very beautiful. I love working on it. So my plan going forward is to continue assembling that bottom portion and then attaching it to the whole quilt, and then working on the outside borders, because I've heard from a couple of people who they know someone who put it together and said that that pre-printed border is kind of challenging. And I got to thinking about it last night, and I realized that the diamond portion of the quilt, before I trim it or do anything with it, I need to measure those pre-printed borders, so that way I make sure that it's the right size, and hopefully that part will go well. So I will continue working on that and hope to have more progress to show you in my next video. In my last video, I talked about this quilt that is in the Tried and True book by Joe Morton, and I wanted to try to make this Christmas quilt, and if I would have been smart, I would have put a bookmark in it. But the quilt is called Glad Tidings, and my plan had been to go to my local quilt shop on my birthday and pick up a couple of things for that particular quilt. But unfortunately, I could not make it until the next day, which was a good thing because my husband had got me a gift certificate to the Speckled Hen. So for the border, I picked out this fabric here. And for the inside accent block, I picked out this. So I think it's going to turn out really, really good. I am not going to work on it until Jane Austen is finished. So as soon as she's done, I'm going to jump on that and try to get it done before Christmas. It's going to hang across the room where my other quilt whatchamabob is. And I am looking forward to hopefully having it done this year. If it doesn't happen, it's okay, but I am going to try. I do have other fabrics that I have in my stash that I've kind of been collecting for the last couple of months. So when I get ready to start the quilt or I make progress, of course, I will show it here in my video. While I was there, and also because I had my gift certificate, I bought this book. So this is the Big Book of Civil War Quilts. It's jam-packed full of amazing, amazing quilts. And why I purchased it, other than the fact that it's full of amazing quilts, is because I saw this one. So this is called Gettysburg Sun. And you know I love anything that is Gettysburg. If you are new here, Gettysburg, I would like to be able to go someday to visit the battlefield at Gettysburg. It's on my bucket list. I am using the same color palette, which are indigos and yellows, but this quilt was done several years ago, so the fabrics used in it are, long gone, but I was able to pull some other fabrics, and I'm looking forward to assembling the quilt, working on it and assembling it. It won't happen until sometime next year. I'm thinking it'll be a winter quilt that during the winter I will be working on it. I do have some previous quilt finishes to show you. I kind of discovered, and I think I mentioned this in my last video, that I realized that I have quilts that I display during the autumn season, but a lot of them also get displayed during Halloween. And, they could go either way, color scheme wise, but I don't have quilts that are just kind of dedicated to autumn, except for these three, which two of them, they may or may not be, but I've always displayed them with my autumn decor. This one has been well used, and I made this one many years ago. I don't remember what the name of it is. It is out of Batik Fabrics, which batiks are not my favorite to work with, but this one my husband kitted for me for Christmas, and I just love all of the colors. It's just such a beautiful quilt. It was very easy to put together, and I actually made two of these quilts. One of them I gave away as an anniversary present, and then we moved and I lost the pattern, and I have not been able to find it since then. It has gone completely missing. I'm guessing I probably threw it out. Who knows what happened to it, but I cannot find it. So it's definitely like very earth tones. You've got the greens, the browns, and the golds. And it is, like I said, very well used and loved. This next one does not have binding on it, and I finished this one probably 5 years ago, and it still doesn't have binding on it. I think I finished it, and then it kind of sat waiting to be quilted, and then I finally quilted it a few years back, and I still have not put the binding on it. And this one could loosely be considered autumny because there are rabbits in there. I forget what line of fabric it was from. I think I won the fabric in a giveaway, and I don't remember too much about the name of the quilt or any information about it. But yeah, it's just one that I kind of, it comes out with the Thanksgiving stuff. It's, kind of foresty, I guess, like autumn forest, that kind of thing. But one of these days I'll get the binding put on it. And then this one here is also done out of batiks. I made this one several years back. I had gotten a bundle of batiks from someone, one of the ladies in my quilt group. She was getting rid of it. And some of these are actually left over from my dad's quilt that I made him. Let me see if I got this the right way. So they are falling leaves, and this one was a free pattern that I used, and if I can find it, I will link it down below, but it's all done out of batiks. And it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed making it. Let me show the bottom. I know it's going to be sideways, but this is the bottom. And just a lot of fun making those. I do remember working on that. I want to say it was like during August or sometime like that, and it was just really, really hot, and there I was working on this fall quilt, just praying for fall temperatures because I was so over summer at that point. And I remember working on that. It was a lot of fun. So I think as far as all of the quilting goes, that is all I have to talk about in this video. I'm really hoping that the video is okay. Right in the middle, a couple of times I got interrupted with some messages that I had to respond to, and then husband came home, and I was struggling at the beginning, not hacking up my lung, and now that I think about it, it looks like my camera might have went crooked. I should just call this my hot mess video because it's just not been going very well. You can't have a good video every time, I guess. There's always going to be something, right? Well, guys, that does bring me to the end of my video, and I appreciate you so much for stopping by today. If I have forgotten anything, please let me know, or because there were so many times where I had to stop filming, and I have a feeling that I might have forgot some information. All the stuff that I've shown, if I can find the information, I will list it down below. And that's always a great resource if you're looking at something and you want to know the information about it. That's probably your quickest way to find out the information about it, is just to pop down into the description box, which is somewhere below the video, and it hopefully will be listed there. If it is not listed there, it's probably because I cannot find any information about it. My plan is to be back in 2 weeks. I hope that you have a great Thanksgiving. I am hosting Thanksgiving this year, so we will have my family over to celebrate. I'm looking forward to it. And then onward to Christmas, right? I can't believe that it is almost here and that this dreaded year is almost over. I will be glad when it is, because it's been a rough year for us. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below. And I do appreciate you stopping by here today. I appreciate all of the comments. I appreciate all the likes, all the love. If you are new here, I believe you can hit the notification bell and it will tell you every time I have a new video uploaded. So I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.